All right, linking Asia and the United States with a new fiber optic high-speed cable. Let's find out, how do they exactly do that? We have the chief executive of Pacnet, Bill Barney. Bill, welcome to Bloomberg.
Hi, Pimm. How are you?
Good. Explain this whole idea of this trans-Pacific cable. I was reading that you actually splice the cable in the middle of the ocean aboard a ship.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. We just completed one of Asia's newest on-ramps to the internet with our new AAC Pacific cable. And yes, we did splice it in the middle of the Pacific. Essentially runs from Los Angeles to Tokyo, and will bring almost 20% more capacity between the Asian region and the United States.
Bill, what kind of growth are you experiencing in this traffic? It can consist of everything, video as well as data. What is the growth prospect?
Well, the growth in Asia is growing at internet growth in general was over 60% last year, largely driven by video, and we're seeing that we actually may see even more growth in 2010 in terms of total bandwidth used in the region. So it's an exploding time in that part of the world, and we believe it's going to continue for the next 2 to 3 years as we start to see more and more video applications coming into the Asian region. Now,
where will this cable actually provide service? Not only to Japan, I believe you landed it in a place called Chikura, Japan. Will this then link to other internet spots in Asia?
Oh, sure. Our Pacnet actually today owns roughly 2/3 of all the cables in Asia, and this cable will connect seamlessly right into those cables and give connectivity all the way to all the major Asian destinations, including Singapore, Hong Kong, parts of mainland China, Taiwan, Korea. Essentially every major location in Asia will be touched by this new cable.
Now, Bill, estimated cost, what, about $300 million to put this cable under the seabed in the Pacific?
Yes.
And
yeah, it's typically for a cable this size, it's about $300 million. It's because it's only between two locations. If you looked at Pacnet's other cables, we've spent close to $4.5 billion building many of the cables that are in Asia. But this is a very, very fast route and a very quick route. We actually built it very, very quickly over the last 24 months.
So this is considered $300 million. This is considered very inexpensive comparatively.
Yes, compared to some of the previous cables that have been built. Partly the technology's come a long way, but also it's a single-threaded cable. It's not typically, if you look at Pacnet's cables in Asia, they are multiple redundant cables. So we essentially will have 4 or 5 landings in each one of the locations in Asia. This cable is a single location, single point-to-point cable, which is it will provide a tremendous amount of capacity, and but it's because it's a single route. It was much easier to build, and it was much faster for us to build it and get it across. And it allows us to do this again if we choose to do this, and Asia continues to grow at the pace it does. We can build another one of these in the next 12 to 36 months.
Bill, what is a cable landing facility? And the reason I ask you is I want you to explain how you're transforming a cable landing facility into something called a data center. That we know a lot more about.
Okay, well, what Pacnet right now, we've launched a new project where we're essentially taking the locations where the cables land and building them into what we call data landing stations. And these locations actually have between 5 and 7 megawatts of power, which is very similar to a typical data center here in the U.S. And they actually have up to 10 terabits of connectivity of capacity into those locations. And what we're doing is we're taking advantage of the fact that we've built very large facilities at these city centers and along the sea in these various countries around Asia, and realize that we're never actually going to use all this space. So now we can actually use it as data centers for many of the new players in the content space. And so we're very excited about the prospect of this conversion. It'll also allow companies to essentially come to one location in Asia and have connectivity to all of Asia. And so it will transform how content is delivered across Asia over the next 5 to 10 years.
Now, Bill, you're launching, what, about 3 of these DLSs? That's the acronym for these data centers,
Yes.
DLS. Can you give us some details as to where the locations are for phase 1?
Yeah, we're building first in Hong Kong and Singapore, and then we'll actually, the third location, we're just finalizing our decision whether that'll be in Taiwan or in Japan. But the first two will actually be operational, we believe, by the end of the summer or into the fall, but pretty much in the next 4 to 5 months.
All right, Bill, now I know that you had some partners in the consortium to lay the cable across the Pacific, KDDI as well as Google. They were partners with you. You're a privately held company. When are you going public?
You know, capital markets, it's your guess. I mean, obviously, we think we'll be an exciting investment at some point in the future, but, you know, right now we're not in any rush to rush to the markets, but, you know, I'm sure you'll be able to buy our stock someday over the next couple of years.
And what about the actual laying of these cables throughout Asia? Are we going to see even greater activity, not only from Pacnet, but from other companies? Are there going to be more competitors?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's a difficult business. It's the business that controls most of the internet today in Asia, not necessarily worldwide, but in Asia, because Asia is a bunch of islands. So it's a very important industry. So I think that there will be other players, but you know, we're confident in our position, and we've been the leader for the last 5 or 6 years, and we will continue to build on that position. We're actually expanding our cable capabilities into India with our new West Asia crossing. So one of the cables that we'll talk about over the next 2 years will actually be our building from Singapore to Chennai. So we're not finished in terms of building our infrastructure, and we'll continue to enhance our position in the next few years.
All right, I want to thank you very much, Bill Barney, Chief Executive of Pacnet, sharing some insight into connecting Asia and the United States through high-speed fiber optic cable.